Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. US President Donald Trump announced Sunday that joint military operations by the United States and Israel had led to regime change in Iran. Speaking on Air Force One, Trump claimed that Iran had largely agreed to a 15-point ceasefire plan proposed via Pakistan and was preparing to release oil tankers bound for the U.S. He suggested an agreement could be reached soon, stating Iran had conceded to most points, including restrictions on its defense capabilities, ceasing support for proxies, recognizing Israel, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz, along with abandoning nuclear weapons. However, Iranian officials quickly countered Trump's assertions. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf stated that the U.S. 15-point plan sought to achieve through diplomacy what could not be attained through war. He emphasized Iran would never accept humiliation if the U.S. continued to demand surrender, criticizing U.S. diplomacy as a smokescreen for ground operations. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Saeed Khatibzadeh further described the U.S. proposals as extreme and unreasonable, infringing on Iran's national sovereignty. He asserted Iran's right to defend itself against U.S.-Israeli aggression, clarifying that their military actions target U.S. and Israeli assets, not Arab nations. The USS Tripoli amphibious assault ship, carrying 3,500 U.S. Marines and sailors, recently arrived in the Middle East, with the Pentagon reportedly preparing for potential ground operations in Iran. Saul Joel. Al Jazeera reports that Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt are leading diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. A recent meeting in Islamabad, the second in 2 weeks, saw the foreign ministers establish a committee of 4 to facilitate direct U.S.-Iran talks. Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar confirmed both Washington and Tehran have confidence in Pakistan's mediation. However, U.S. President Donald Trump sent mixed signals, expressing confidence in a deal while also threatening to seize Iran's Karg Island and setting an April 6 deadline for Iran to accept terms or face U.S. strikes. Iran, for its part, dismissed U.S. proposals as unrealistic and excessive, demanding war reparations, guarantees against future aggression, and recognition of its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Analysts highlight the wide gap between the two sides' demands, deep Iranian skepticism, and ongoing Israeli strikes in Iran and Lebanon, alongside an expanding U.S. military presence in the Gulf, as major obstacles to peace. Despite Iran allowing 20 Pakistani-flagged vessels through the Strait of Hormuz as a confidence-building measure, experts warn that sustained Israeli attacks and a lack of trust could derail the delicate diplomatic process. Al Jazeera reports that Spain has officially closed its airspace to United States planes involved in the ongoing U.S.-Israel war on Iran. Defense Minister Margarita Robles confirmed the decision, stating that the war is profoundly illegal and profoundly unjust. This move follows Spain's earlier refusal this month to allow Washington to use jointly operated military bases, specifically Rota and Moron in southern Spain, which forced 15 U.S. aircraft to relocate. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has consistently described the conflict as unjustifiable and dangerous. In response to Spain's stance, U.S. President Donald Trump had threatened to cut trade with Madrid. Spain has been a vocal critic of U.S. and Israeli military actions in the Middle East, a position that also saw it implement a total arms embargo on Israel in October 2025 and recognize a Palestinian state in May 2024. More than 70 people were killed in South Sudan over the weekend by gunmen following a dispute at a gold mining site on the outskirts of the capital, Juba. A police spokesperson confirmed the deaths, and a video showing numerous bodies on open ground circulated online. A local journalist reported that many other victims are believed to have fled into the bush. The gold mining site at Jebel Iraq has a history of violent clashes involving illegal miners, as gold mining in South Sudan is largely unregulated, with state governments operating their own sectors independently of national authorities. The Sudan People's Liberation Movement, Army, in opposition, SPLM-IAA, condemned the attack and blamed government forces, known as the SSPDF, given that the area is under their exclusive control. The Army spokesperson declined to comment on the incident. A local civil rights group, the Nile Institute for the Study of Human Rights and Transitional Justice, condemned the horrific act, calling for effective governance and oversight in resource-rich areas. They highlighted the continued vulnerability of civilians due to weak security presence and unregulated resource exploitation. Human rights activist Edmund Yakani urged authorities to address the emerging trend of communities competing for natural resources and stop illegal gold mining across the country. This report comes from the Canadian Press. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.